or so many feet of water line in a city or sewer line, or let's say, for instance, instead of having 100 feet of sidewalk, all of a sudden, you're going to be able to have a project that you're going to have 150 feet of sidewalk for the same
I
amount
got
of
you.
taxpayer
So you're
dollars.
going to make the same mistake that is common across all these areas, and that Carr's made exactly as well too. That is, if we reduce labor costs, we can reduce the cost of the project. And I'll tell you right now, it does not seem to be working in modern times, as is my Carhartt example, as I can give you countless examples. Why is it the pair of New Balance made in USA tennis shoes cost the same price as a Nike tennis shoe made in China with much cheaper labor costs? Well, they've realized the cost the consumer is willing to pay for that project, and that's what they're going to charge. They're not going to charge less. Same thing goes with high schools. Same way it works as well. Once we establish what folks are willing to pay per foot, per retail space, they're going to charge that price. And the savings you make on labor, thank you very much, that goes into profit. It doesn't work the other way around, gentlemen. Maybe it did 50 years ago, another time, but it doesn't work today because I see example after example after example of that's exactly what happened. We didn't see we didn't see prices fall when we moved all these factories over to China. Prices remain the same, although labor costs reduce dramatically. Same thing is going to go here. You're going to reduce labor costs dramatically. Your workers are going to be hurt because of it, and no cost will drop whatsoever in the project. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
If may, briefly.
Good afternoon, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I just want two questions for you. The first question is, I know that, the prevailing wage battle was a long battle a while ago, but most of it centered around, when they were bartering, centered around safety. Because if I can outbid you, they would bid so low to get the project that it would compromise the safety standards on the project. Because it still was going to cost a certain amount to do it. They were cutting corners, so the safety of the construction project came into play. So do you think that at this rate, are we going to be compromising safety in that way?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So is that figured in, like say for instance, when you're doing construction, and we're doing the wage, weren't they figuring in the safety cost? Because certain building projects have to meet a certain safety standards. And so isn't that cost also calculated in this?
It very well could be, depending on, the type of project. If you're talking about something that has dangers and things like that, but most contractors are going to carry workman's compensation due to the state requiring that, whether they're paying prevailing wage or whether they're just, I can tell you, workman's compensation is a whole other can of worms. It's killing my people down home. They can't pay it.
And one other question, I was looking at your wage scale. Now, is this, the Federal Bureau of Statistics, was this just germane, these numbers germane to Missouri, or was this an average across all of the states?
No, this is specifically for Missouri.
So the Federal Bureau of Statistics said for a carpenter, the average wage is $20.85.
That's correct.
Now, on most construction workers, they don't work year-round, right?
I know I never did.
Right. So their work is intermittent. So like for me, making maybe $20 an hour, I can average about, $40,000 or $42,000 a year, which is still, difficult on a family of four. But if they're only working part of the year and not all of the year, is that why, is that why the wage is so high? I always say this, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This show comes on called The Greatest Catch. And they pay these guys a whole lot of money to spend a month in some dangerous water getting the shrimp and the fish and the things that we like to eat. And it's priced really high because of the risk is so high, and they don't go out often. They only go out like maybe twice a year and stay out for a month to bring in this load. So these workers, I'm saying their wage at the prevailing wage might be what it is because they might be out of work for 6 months or 3 months or 4 months. Is that a possibility?
When you're out of work, you go cut wood, man, in my country, or you do something else.
But when you're living in an urban area, it's hard to cut wood in an urban area. And, and light and gas and all of that never stops coming. Those bills come every month.
We also learn to save for a rainy day.
Some of us. Thanks.
Representative Weber? Go ahead.
So your bill does kind of two distinct things. First, it changes the way prevailing wage is calculated, differentiates it between different counties. And then second, it also changes the definition of maintenance and construction. Is that fair? Okay, so let's take first for the how it's calculated. Is it simpler or more complicated to have a structure that divides counties into different groups when determining prevailing wage?
Okay, let's clarify this little sheet that I had. The different counties is the state computation.
I'm not talking about that sheet. I'm talking about the language in your bill.
I don't understand.
Well, your bill changes the way that the prevailing wage is calculated.
We're going to use the federal statistics. Comes out once a year. It's a simple deal.
But it makes a difference between whether you're in St. Louis County or in...
It doesn't apply to St. Louis County.
Right, correct.
I'm
So St. Louis is...
trying to leave everything alone in the counties that most of you are talking about.
Okay, so St. Louis County, but St. Louis County would have a different structure.
Just like you've been doing.
Right, so they would create two different structures for calculating prevailing wage.
That's right.
Okay, is that more complicated or less complicated?
To me, it's less complicated because all of the rural counties, the low population counties where we don't have prevailing wages, there is going to be a statistic to use by, and it would be the.
So in your opinion, it is less complicated to have two different formulas to arrive at a prevailing wage than it is to have one formula arriving at a prevailing wage?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second question, the definition of maintenance and construction. This is something that we used to debate with our former chair, Barney Fisher, frequently. So the way I read your definition, the only thing that really truly matters is the size of the building or the enclosure, whatever you're working on. Whatever you do to that, whether you improve it, whether you retool it, that just becomes maintenance. Is that true?
I'm not sure. When we talk about the construction and the maintenance work, I'm a little bit confused about this myself. I will tell you this. Last year when I run this bill through, this amendment was put on and we rewrote the bill this time and left that amendment in this bill, the same one that I run last year.
Okay, because...
I'm a little confused about it myself, I really am.
All right. Well, we're in the same boat because I'm a little confused too. And do you think that's something we could probably clarify before we move this bill too far?
I think we would need to.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate it. I think we're both confused on that, and we disagree. I think one formula is simpler than two formulas. You're probably better at math than me. If a teacher gave me a choice of learning one or two, I'd take one.
Could I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
We have, how many counties in the state of Missouri right now?
114, is that right?
That's how many formulas we currently have, okay? On this new proposal, we would have 8 formulas and a formula for the city of St. Louis. All of the rest of them are the same. So we're talking about a lot less.
I thought we were dealing with 2 or 1, now we're up to 114 formulas. Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Well, that's how many currently there are.
All right. I guess my last question is, we changed this last year with House Bill 34. We changed some of the formula for prevailing wage, didn't we?
I think so.
And how is that? That went into effect August 28th, I guess. How has that worked so far?
I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
And that's the right answer, and I'm not either. I don't think anybody's smart enough to figure it out. I mean, it's been less than 5 months, and doesn't it make sense, though, on an issue that is so hotly contested, that when we made a change less than 5 months ago, we should see how that change works before making another change?
I don't really know how to answer that, except that I think this method with the Federal Bureau of Statistics is a whole lot easier. It's one publication, it's done once a year, And every county in the state, except those 8 counties in the city of St. Louis, would have that to go by.
So you're comfortable making a change to prevailing wage laws that we just changed 5 months ago without any data on how the last changes affected the law?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're a bolder man than I am. Thank you.
Okay, those that are here to testify in support of the bill, Jay Atkins, are you testifying in support?
I am, Representative.